Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a drama/war film from Colombia, Spanish language English subs, released in the year 2015, directed by José Luis Rugeles, and this film is called Alias Maria. So Alias Maria takes place in Colombia. You've got the FARC movement in the war against the government forces. Now this is a civil war that has besieged this nation for quite some time. So our main character is a girl soldier. She's very young and she has to face the hardships of what war brings. So she is tasked with a mission. Now the mission, along with her fellow comrades, is to take the baby of their leader to a safe haven. So the idea is that when the war finishes, the leader can go and get the baby. So they only have 4 days to do this, and in 4 days the division is going to move on, and so if this group hasn't come back in time, they're going to be by themselves and pretty much doomed. So there's a lot of pressure to meet that deadline, but there's also a lot of pressure to this girl soldier because she has a secret of her own that she's desperately trying to keep away from the others, because it could put her in danger if this secret is uncovered. So whether or not she can make the perilous journey to safety is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Alias Maria. If someone told you to go to Antarctica and all of a sudden they were going to strip your clothing off and say you have to deal with the cold for 90 minutes, that's the type of cruelty you get from Alias Maria. But I thought it did a great job at showing you the respect of the themes that it was depicting. I thought this movie wouldn't have hit home if it was trying to exploit the hardships of child soldiers. Basically, this movie is about child soldiers and how the innocence can be corrupted by stuff that we couldn't imagine what it would be like in the West. So when you've got a stereotypical child in the West, you think of girls that are playing around with makeup, they're playing around, they're giggling at boys, they're playing with Barbie dolls, they're having a good time. That's the stereotypical image of a child that we have in the West. But in places like Colombia, in Africa and Asia, this is not exactly how it is. This is harsh realities, and I thought the whole film just hits you on a harsh reality sense, and I thought that was the most respectful way that it could have done this. It could have actually made this film glorified. It could have had action scenes. It could have been just a Hollywood type of film, but that wouldn't have done it justice. This wouldn't have been forcing the viewer to open their eyes at hardships that actually exist. This happens all over the world, and the horrifying thing is that it's actually happening now, but the West don't really care. It's going under the radar. We don't hear about it on the news, and if you're not hearing about it and if you're not actually seeing it, it doesn't hit home. You almost feel as though it's not happening, so you can turn a blind eye. But José Luis Rugeles forces the viewer to actually see what war is like, and basically war, there is no future, and war is very corruptive, it's very destructive, it's destroying innocence, it's destroying people, and it's basically just destroying this country of Colombia. And so I thought it was very good in what it was doing with its cruelty. It was showing you the hardships, it was showing you that there was no hope, it was showing you that these children were forced to grow up very quickly. In this stage, you've got the baby. Now the baby was the symbolization of innocence, but the baby was completely helpless. It couldn't do anything without the help of the actual war, or without the help of these corrupted people. And so that is ultimately the tragic thing, is that when it comes to it, when you've got corruption, you've got innocence, unfortunately corruption will actually overtake and engulf that innocence. And I think that is very sad, but very, very realistic. And it's something that a lot of people really have to come to terms with. And I think José Luis Rugeles does a great job at actually forcing the viewer to come to terms with the harsh realities of this world. So the acting was very good. I thought the main character, I didn't really know where she's, I haven't seen her before, as is the case with every other character. So it does hit you on a much more realistic sense, in the fact that it's not like Tom Cruise in this film, where you're actually watching a movie. You actually feel as though you're in the jungle with these people, and the jungle is both very beautiful but very, very harsh at the same time. The law of the jungle, and it was almost like the mentalities of these people with the symbolization of the jungle. It's survival of the fittest. If you're not fit, even if you're a child, you're going to get left behind, you're going to get shot. And so when you've got the overall desensitization to violence, this is how terrifying war can be, is that it can change everyday people into these maniacs. And that's what this film does. You got the comrades of this girl soldier, who I felt as though they had attributes that made them likable, and in a different world maybe they would have been good people, maybe they would have been computer engineers, maybe they would have been doctors, but because of this situation they've been forced to be desensitized to a point where it's corrupted all their innocence, it's corrupted their souls. And so the movie does have a very 2D sort of cardboard cutout approach, but I thought that cardboard cutout approach was done very well because it's a symbolization of what this world has become. In that if you are subjected to horrible things, all of a sudden you're going to lose your personality. You're just going to be like the other person out there. So you're all going to be the same. Is because you've just completely been bashed in the gutter and you've been hit over the head time and time again. And after a while, you don't really feel the pain. And that's exactly how I felt with this film. I felt as though no one in this movie was feeling the pain. No one in this movie was looking after children, because all of a sudden you just see a soldier for what it is. It's just a soldier. Doesn't matter what the age. And once again, that is a very terrifying thought of its own. So you've got a soundtrack that I thought was very minimal. Once again, very respectful. It's respecting the audience. It's not having any stereotypical Hollywood tropes where it's cueing music when you should be feeling sad or cueing music when you should be feeling scared. So I just think it hits you on that realistic sense, and I think that was the best way to go about actually depicting something of this sort of nature. So you've got some pretty horrific scenes of violence as well. Once again, it's not exploiting that violence, so it does hit you very hard. If you are sensitive towards child murder, definitely don't watch this film, because there is a scene near the end that really will hit you with a lot of shocking material. And there's also a very ghastly scene right at the end that I thought was pretty much summed up what the whole film was about. So that was something that I just thought was necessary. A lot of people might say it was unnecessary to show the violence for as shocking as it is, but I thought it was necessary because it sums up the lifestyle, it sums up this environment, and once again it sums up how different their lifestyle is from other people's lifestyles. So basically, the lifestyle that you have as a stereotypical child might not necessarily be the realistic one, and this one does hit you with something that is a lot different. It's very, very hard to stomach. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a problem I had with this film. Although the movie does hit you on a very emotional sense, I thought it was emotional because bad things were happening to this young child, this young girl soldier. And I thought that, you know, no girl deserves this, but I didn't really connect to her on a personal level. So it's not really a personal account. I thought it was a representation of not only child soldiers in Colombia, but also the rest of the world. And so that's what I thought the movie really needed, a little bit more depth to the characters. I thought everyone was 2D cardboard cutout. And once again, as I said, it's war corroding their souls, corroding their personality, so they've lost all hope. And it does give you that. So in a way, it does work because it's giving you the fact that now each and every one of them is the same person, that they're just killing machines. And I thought, yeah, okay, that does work, but the movie needed a little bit something else to really hit you on a personal account. It could have gone into a little bit with the FARC movement, could have gone a little bit into the government movement and why there is a war, but it just doesn't do that. I felt as though you join this specific predicament on a certain day and you're a fly on the wall. You're going along on this perilous journey with her that is very hard to see, but I just thought it was a representation. It was a very generalized sort of approach the film has, as opposed to actually getting you something on a very personal account. So I didn't really care about this character so much because you know, of her past. I just cared about her because no one of that age should have to go through these hardships. But that's not a major criticism, but it's definitely a criticism that does prevent it from being an absolute masterpiece. But having said that, if you are a fan of war films and you want something that's going to be very harrowing, definitely go out there and see Alias Maria, and as a result of that, I'm going to give this film 4 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.